know what the end outcome is going to be necessarily, but we know where the elite want to take us. In my opinion, it's a big wake-up call that we are spiritual beings. If they want to control us and dumb us down, there must be something very powerful about us that they want to suppress, holding down that ball underneath the water for as long as they can to suppress our consciousness and our true higher human nature. Constantly in this world, people are saying, well, this is happening because it's human nature. It's human. Well, what is human nature? What is human nature? Can we define this thing called human nature? And in my opinion, human nature is in a state of flux. If you look at some of the Buddhist beliefs out there, Eastern beliefs, life constantly is going through change. That's the only constant. And I can see that more and more in this world. We are constantly going through change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the not so better. But it's important to understand that what we're facing today, this world, it is collectively our Frankenstein. Albeit a lot of things are happening behind the scenes, but we have the responsibility to take the information, the documentation that we have, and actually do something productive with it. There are many people in the conspiracy research community that don't get outside the box of being afraid of the future or traumatized by the events. And it's unfortunate because just knowing about this stuff by itself doesn't actually change it. Loving your fellow neighbor more and more, your family, people in your community, not getting bigger locks and acting paranoid when you see people that try to engage in eye contact. This city's got a lot of neurotic people in it that tend to be or appear to be very afraid of, well, different people like me. I love this town, don't get me wrong. I love all the different communities here. But there's also a lot of cliques here, and sometimes the clique energy of these communities can be so strong that the real community element that it was all supposed to be about doesn't seem to be as obviously prevalent or in existence. And so in a city with so many cliques, it can feel very alienating to people that want to talk about outside-the-box issues. The tough thing for me is a lot of people come to me going, Alex, you're the only one that I think understands what I'm saying, but I can't be there for thousands and thousands of people on a one-on-one level. What I do want to do is be a conduit to help bring people together as these changes come right at our door, where we understand that this stuff wasn't a conspiracy theory. It's happening to all of us. And we never should be in the box of thinking that we're all alone, because we're not all alone. So many people in the city are going through major economic hardship. Many people in the city, many men and women can't meet are having trouble meeting other men and women they can really connect with on a spiritual level, because many of us have been brainwashed on so many levels to hate ourselves and fear and resent other people based on what they have, or to maybe not like someone because they don't have enough to maybe provide for someone. So we police ourselves into acting a certain way so we survive. And sometimes when we're stuck in survival mode, we do very unspiritual things and keep the wrong company because we're so focused on staying alive and paying the bills and keeping the kids healthy and keeping the kids fed. And so we need to be thinking about the future when the dollar system goes through a full-on crash. What changes do we need to make in the new world that's coming? I mean, I'm not talking about a new world order, but a new world. We are moving into a new world where we have to have a greater level of responsibility over our own lives and our own actions, how we feed ourselves, how we clothe ourselves, how we find shelter, how we communicate with one another. The strong men and women in the future that you're going to see are people that are able to talk with one another without getting into large arguments, people that are able to communicate without getting violent, people that are able to, in a crisis, breathe, and actually maintain some level of calmness. People that can be leaders in a crisis and not panic and start screaming and freaking out and doing irrational things. So the whole purpose of being prepared, having the gear that you need, but most of all being spiritually prepared, being prepared in your heart, is that when that day comes, you don't panic. But it's really also about living your life without regrets. More than the gear, more than the stuff, living your life without regrets. So no matter what happens, if something happens where we leave this planet prematurely, we leave it without regrets, knowing we did what was right while we had the ability to do it. That we utilized our free will in the best, highest form possible. And you can only be the best judge in this world, other than God or your spirit guides, in terms of that. Don't listen sometimes to your fellow brothers and sisters that may be trying to lead you astray from who you really are. There was a lot of people that didn't support me when I started the show. There's a lot of people that still aren't supporting me. And so I've had to realize that if you're going to be successful, if you're going to move forward, you have to believe in yourself no matter what. No matter whether you have a lot of money or don't have a lot of money, no matter whether you're single or not single, family or no family. You can be in the category where you have none of those things. It doesn't matter in terms of your actual ability to affect change. we're not limited by how much money we have. We're just kind of brainwashed into thinking that we have to stay stuck in a limited possibility or something bad's going to happen. You've got nothing to lose. We're losing a lot right now in this country. You've got nothing to lose from standing up. And it doesn't necessarily mean taking on the government or regurgitating the information that I share with you and passing it on, but do what you feel is right. Find out what you can do, what solution you can be a part of. Where is your heart gravitating to right now? That's the question to ask yourself. Bill, I'm ready. You can go ahead and let that call through, and then I think we have some time for some others, and then we'll get to the phone calls. Go ahead. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hi. I enjoy listening to you to the program all the time. Oh, let me turn off my TV.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy listening to your program here. I do have a couple comments. I think globalism itself is preferable to any kind of nationalism at this point. But it has to be a democratic institution that includes everyone at this point, not just the corporate elite and their technocrats.
Right.
The other thing is, you mentioned about Goldman Sachs and his BP executives selling all these stocks.
44%.
Yeah.
Right before it took place.
Are you familiar with that group of people or whoever it is that are going to donate or that are going to invest $1 billion or something in electric car stations?
Yeah, there's a lot of investment going into green energy right now, and it's not as on the up and up as some people think. In fact, there's a lot of Chinese investment in the Pacific Northwest, for that matter. So you're going to see more Americans, white people for that matter, working for Chinese corporations in the Pacific Northwest in the future. So it seems all on the up and up, very green and very sustainability.
Well, the problem that
things are not as they seem. Again, we're going to be moving to a new reality where we're buying energy from a private corporation that's based offshore.
Okay. The problem I have with this Goldman Sachs thing and the oil spill is that you mentioned Halliburton and all those people. And see, like, I believe that there are conspiracies of evil in this world. And that if Halliburton and all these people are connected to it, and they've been implicated in the 9/11 conspiracy, I really believe that America really has to, turn around and start looking at where it's at, because we're losing it.
Yeah, that's a very, very obvious observation. Now, with the knowledge that you have at your fingertips, what are you doing on a personal level, individual level, to help the world become something better, something higher than what it is, in the capacity that you have physically as a male alive today on the planet?
Well, I share the bits of information and things that I've learned. Mm-hmm. I'm self-educated, but at the present time, I'm disabled and don't have a lot of mobility. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that I can really do is share with the individuals that I talk with, in and around campuses, out on the street, neighbors, things like that, so that the word gets spread out that way.
That's really important to do, as small as that might be to some people, because some people do remember the information that's passed on to them when things come into fruition. There's this one African-American officer that in Portland that works for the police. I have bumped into him about 3 or 4 times, and call it serendipity, call it synchronicity. I've seen the guy 4 times in the last 2 months. I approached him and 2 female officers, this is on YouTube, and talked with them about the plans for martial law, the black helicopter drills over Portland, things like Top Off 4, a lot of things that have happened in our city that jeopardize our security, our Constitution, our sovereignty. And it was interesting because after I talked with him for about 10, 15 minutes, I saw him again in the riot cop uniform when there was the March 29th